Don't bite him. Oh God, they're fighting.
Sometimes we forget why we're here. It's easy to fall off track.
Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So a couple of days ago, I posted on my Instagram what type of video you would like to see, and somebody commented, go away. Somebody commented that they wanted to see a video about geckos. So I own 2 leopard geckos. This is Smog, like the dragon from Lord of the Rings, and then also in this, there's a little container down here, is Eric. So in this video, I'm just going to give some random facts that I learned about geckos while also cleaning out their tank. Well, their tank's already been cleaned out. All I have to do is just put all of their hides and everything back in there. So without further ado, let's get started. So I got Smog and Eric from Petco about this year in February. It was a completely random purchase. I think I was in there looking for dog toys, and this is Eric Killmonger. I was in there looking for dog toys, and I saw the geckos, and they were so skinny and malnourished. They were so skinny and malnourished, and I was like, oh my God, I have to have them. So I was asking Petco about them, and I was like, can they live together? Da, 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 da. They're like, yeah, they can live together, no problem. I put them in. I started off with a 10-gallon tank with 2 geckos because Petco told me that was fine. After about a week, they tried to kill each other. So they have both since been upgraded to 20-gallon tanks. My end goal is to eventually get them in like much bigger tanks, but they're very calm, they're very chill. It took me such a long time to get used to them. It was a new animal, I've never had a reptile before. Oh, you're shedding. I didn't know you were shedding. So let's talk about the shedding. When I first got them, Smog, the one that you guys saw first, he was shedding. And when I asked Petco about it, they were like, well, just leave him alone. He'll shed on his own. So I did, and I noticed about 2 or 3 weeks after I got him, he still had skin on him. So I Googled it, and they're like, no, if it takes too long, you need to like put their feet and their tails in like a little bit of water, let it get soaked, take some tweezers, and I'm gonna pull that off. Take some tweezers and, don't pull it off, but gently let them walk away from it and the skin will come off. I waited. I'm going to put you down for a second. I waited for too long, and as a result, Smog actually lost, see his little nubs? He lost a couple toes because I waited too long, and I felt so bad. But, Petco misinformed me, and I didn't know what I was doing. Another thing that I really love about leopard geckos is, from my understanding, they're the only reptiles that they close their eyes when they go to sleep. And he is just gorgeous. But from my understanding, they're the only reptiles that close their eyes when they go to sleep. They're very easy to maintain. Like if you're looking for a first-time reptile and you really don't know where to go, I highly suggest the gecko. They don't require much maintenance. And the best thing, hi cutie, the best thing about their maintenance is, is their house is what I call their aquariums. Because I don't do terrariums, because terrariums are expensive. Which is terrarium, the only difference is the door opens in the front instead of on top like an aquarium. But depending on how you do their housing, it's really simple. So, Jesus boy, you're getting fat. I use Eco Earth, which is coconut soil. And let me tell you why I love this stuff so much. It's a soil, it's clean, it smells amazing. It smells amazing, it's natural, and on top of that, I don't have to change the soil every 6 months. So if you do get it, that doesn't mean don't clean their aquariums every 6 months. You're supposed to spot clean it. So once a week, I have a little pooper scooper. I spot clean it. I clean out the sheddings and everything. So they're really easy to maintain. Another thing that was really hard for me to get used to was feeding them. I was not the person to touch worms. Like when I first got them, their worms, I would pick up their worms with tweezers and drop them. I was terrified of crickets. And We haven't done crickets in a couple weeks because I suck at crickets. Like, I used to get a container of like 20, and the crickets would always die because I couldn't keep them alive. So now whenever I go to PetSmart or Petco, I get like, I get about 4 or 6, and then I just drop them in their tank as soon as I get them. But their main food is mealworms. They eat at night. So they have 2 lamps. They have a red lamp and a white lamp. So when the red lamp comes on, it's wintertime. So about 6, 7 o'clock is when they eat at night. They get about 3 to 4 mealworms apiece. And then a couple of times a week, they'll get waxworms. Waxworms are not an everyday food. They're really cool. They're like a snack. They're like really fatty, really snacky. And then we do crickets once a week. But sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, I do forget to go get the crickets. With me having dogs, I don't handle them as much as I used to, but I try to handle them at least once a day. When I first got them, the first thing I wanted to do was pick them up and get used to them and handle them. But you couldn't do that. So it took a while. And actually, Smog, this one right here, he bit me. But in his defense, he bit me because he was eating his food and I went to go pick him up. Now, one thing I will say, I love their tails. Look at that. When I first got him, his tail wasn't even half this size. So it takes a lot of time and maintenance. And, you know, it took a while for him to trust me. He did not like me. He would run for me. He would hide from me. But now if I come and I pick him up, and normally they'll just sit on my shoulder when I walk around the house, or, you know, I'll just pick them up and I'll hold them. I'll chill with them. If you didn't know, they are nocturnal, which is why I feed them at night. I don't really bother them during the day, which I'm in the Army, so I'm not home during the day. If you see, their aquariums are sitting on my my fireplace, and to keep it nice and warm because it is winter, at night they have a little heater. Then they have their heating pads, and to help keep the heat in, I keep I keep pillows behind the tank so that the tank doesn't get too cold or anything like that. And I try to keep their, what's it at now? I try to keep their tank between 75 and 95, but 85 is like, please don't do that. 85 is like where I really try to keep it. And when it comes to the humidity, I try to keep it at about 20%. Like I said, I did just get them, you know, not even a year ago. It's been almost a year. I'm still learning every day. I'm still learning new things. I'm still learning how to take care of them. It's really hard because they can be really moody. And then we have Eric Killmonger. He used to be actually bigger than Smog. He's not as people friendly. He's a bit of an asshole. He's bitten me quite a few times. And he actually, you see his tail. His tail used to be the same size as Smog's tail. He used to be bigger than him. But when we moved to North Carolina, see, there's a piece of skin. When we moved to North Carolina, his habits completely changed. I don't know what happened. He just wasn't eating as much as he used to. So he gets a little bit of extra heat because upon some research, I learned that if they get too cold, there we go. You're just shedding. If they get too cold, they won't eat as much. Now, to talk about the shedding part of it, oh, look at his eyes. He is just gorgeous. I love my animals. I'm such an animal fanatic. But the one thing, also to go back to shedding, my geckos, they have about 3 hides apiece. So they have a hide over their heating pad. They have a hide in the middle of their tank that sits right up under their lamp. And then they have a shedding hide, which is just a nice little smaller hide. And I put a paper towel in there. And I keep it as moist in there. I keep it as moist in there as I can so that they can go in there and shed when need be. And like I said, whenever they do shed, I didn't say this. So whenever they do shed, hey, Papa. See, and my dogs are pretty good around them. They don't try to eat them. I'm a lucky. Back up. But ooh, your claws. Whenever they do shed, it's good. Back up. It's good not to feed them. Yeah, it's good not to feed them because their skin is very vulnerable. They can get infections. They can get sick. So when I notice that they are shedding, I keep the water in their container. I try to keep their shedding hide a little bit more moist than normal. and I'll remove any food, and I'll spot clean their cage immediately because I don't want them getting sick, and I don't want them to, you know, hurt themselves or anything like that. And actually, I got to see Eric shed one day, and it's the coolest thing ever because, you know, they're not like dogs. They can't just scratch it off, but when they do shed, they shake it, and they kind of scratch it the best they can, and they'll pull it off themselves with their mouths, and they'll eat the skin. So whenever your gecko does shed and you can't find the skin, it's because they eat it. Now, this is for hamsters, but Eric loves it. I don't know why he loves it. When I bought it, I forgot his paper towel. When I bought it, because I thought it was cute, he fell in love with it. So if you notice, I'm wetting the paper towels. That's what I was telling you for. It goes where where they normally tend to shed. And once you've had them for a while, you start to notice where they like to shed, where they like to chill, and how they like to operate. Eric likes to climb, and Smog likes to keep it down low, which is why Eric has these where he can climb, and Smog's is literally really simple. But once I put them in there and get them situated, I'll have everything. Also, one thing I forgot to mention. If you do ever get them, do not forget reptile calcium. Whenever you have, oh yeah, and then your little spray bottle. I mix their cages in the morning or at night, depending on how the humidity is. But with the calcium, you put it in their bowl for the mealworms, and the mealworms get covered in calcium, so they get the calcium that they need. Or if you have crickets, you know, when I buy them, they come in like a little bag. I just dump it in there, and bam, they get their calcium. I'm gonna go ahead and put the calcium in the bowl, but like I said, they're not gonna eat until nighttime. So I know they're tired of me. I know they're ready to go to bed. They're also in the same container right now. Don't bite him. Oh God, they're fighting. Come here. We're gonna go with Eric because he's instigating. He's the one who I saw biting. See, even for a little guy, he's like, I'm thug. So we're gonna put him in there. And then, hey Bubba, hi, it's me. It's me. Nope, back up. Oh, come here. Come here. Let me see your tail. Move, mommy. So, see, he bit him. Back up. He bit him right here on his tail, but he's fine. So he's gonna go back inside. Yeah, that's it. Here's Smog in his new house. I try to do their houses, even though I spot clean once a week. I try to change our houses out about every month. One, I like looking at cool decorations, and it gives them something new to explore. The only thing you will know about having geckos, they're like any other animals. They all like difference. Like, let's say cats. Some cats like to be down low. Some cats like to climb. Smog does not like to climb. He likes to keep it simple. He's big, but that little egg, he loves to cram himself inside of there, and he will cram, and he'll pop his little head out when necessary. And then we have Eric Killmonger. He loves to climb. He'll climb up and sit in his little house. He'll climb and he'll sit up here, and he'll climb up there and chill out. You know, everybody, you know, you just start to learn how your animals operate, and that's how my babies operate. Again, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Be sure to tune in Thursday for our next craft video. Mwah!